we go inside the vault on a Tuesday. It's the 21st of October and officially week 8 of this NFL regular season. Welcome inside the vault for a Ravens Lunch Hour live stream. I'm Bobby Trossett. This is Sarah Ellison, my co-host and partner. And today's live stream is brought to you by our friends at Primary Residential Mortgage. That means we have yet another giveaway opportunity for you, as we've had all month long. A $100 Fanatics gift card will be given out Halloween week. So that's coming up right around the corner. You can enter yourself into that free giveaway courtesy of Primary, courtesy of Fanatics. It's the Ravens team store by clicking on the link that we have included in the show notes and also as a pinned comment. More on them in just a bit. Couple procedural items from me before we give you our rundown. One, we've heard from so many of you about our audio only stream, meaning in the podcasting space. We're sorry about the confusion. Thursday and Friday of the bye, which was last week, we had fill-in hosts on our YouTube only sort of formatting. So we didn't have anything released. It's not on your end. It's on our end. We should have been more communicative about such. And then yesterday was due to the outage. So there was that AWS outage globally, and Simplecast didn't work. I didn't even have a chance to tell you this, Sarah. Our editing team communicated with me directly. That was actually released this morning. So again, if those of you are like, what is going on with the audio only show? That's that. Apologies for the confusion there. And then as promised, after quick hits, you and I will share our respective travels from the bye week. Okay, that's done there. In terms of today's rundown, wow, where do we even begin? John Harbaugh has given somewhat of a confusing answer as of yesterday, Sarah, related to Lamar Jackson's availability. And when we say confusing, we're comparing yesterday's messaging to last week's messaging, both post-game and on Monday leading into the bye. So we'll share.
Andy's answer yesterday was just confusing, not just comparing it.
Well, yeah, but when you compare the messaging, when you compare back to a week ago, I mean, night and day messaging, which has led to the confusion. We'll get into that. We'll get into Marlon Humphrey's wide-ranging media scrum interview that just dropped this morning on the Ravens YouTube channel. Boy, oh boy, that went in a bunch of different directions. Zay Flowers apologized during his media scrum. We got a lot to get to. Great to see you, partner. Happy Tuesday.
It's good to see you. You good rundown there. But yeah, but okay, obviously yesterday the Ravens practiced on Monday, which they usually do not do because you play Sunday. You need a rest day, or maybe they have a walkthrough, and sometimes the rest days are Mondays, sometimes it's Tuesdays. But on the other one, they're usually just doing walkthroughs or whatever. But because they're coming off a bye week, they return to practice. And we usually don't get practice reports on Monday. It usually is on Wednesdays. But they come back to practice, and Roquan Smith returns. Pat Ricard is there. A number of other guys that had been injured. But there is no Lamar Jackson. And so that makes everybody a little bit nervous because we're all expecting him after the bye. So John Harbaugh was asked about it. And the way it was asked, a follow-up of whether he'll play in the game, was confusing to me. So listen to his answer, and then we'll break it down on the other side.
Good to see Lamar out there. Do you still anticipate practicing this week?
I think all the guys are working really hard to get back. I can tell you that. So we'll see who's back and who practices on Wednesday. I don't really want to comment on any individual guys per se, and I'm looking forward to it.
You said you anticipate Lamar playing this week.
Same answer.
Okay, so because of the way that was phrased, Bobby, so that's fine. You didn't want to talk about who is practicing. We'll get a practice report on Wednesday. But then Sam Jane followed up on the practice question. And he said, you said that you anticipate Lamar playing this week. And then he said, same answer. So I don't know if he was saying same answer from the one above, where he's saying, I don't want to get into anybody individually, or if he's saying last week, yes, I said anticipate Lamar playing, same answer as last week. Do you see what I'm saying?
I totally do.
Yeah.
And what I was pointing out off the top, I think, was more like, wow, to almost be defiant a week ago, whether it was post-game or the day after the Rams loss, in terms of like, hey, there's reason for optimism. We're getting our quarterback back. To go from that to yesterday was quite the polarizing change.
Right. And to your point, this is how we talked about Lamar last week. There's one clip from right after the game, and then there's another clip on Monday, which, Bobby, you were out for. But he definitely was leaning into Lamar Jackson, giving them a boost psychologically. Listen to this: first Sunday and then Monday.
It's going to be back. That's probably a big one, you know.
John, you mentioned Lamar for sure back for Bears as soon as after.
Well, I mean, for sure, you know, I'm saying so, but you know, I don't know. Well, that's how life is sometimes. You can't predict everything. It's still the future, but that's the hope. Psychologically, how much am I leaning into Lamar coming back and playing? Yeah, I'd have to. If I was on the couch with a psychiatrist right now, if I was spilling it, I would have to say I'm leaning really hard into that. Really hard, yeah. For any kind of psychological well-being, spiritual well-being, I'm leaning hard on that happening. So I'm very hopeful that happens.
Is that the first time you heard that?
Yes. Why am I not surprised?
Well, and so it's funny though, because again, look how happy he is. Yeah, psychologically speaking, I'm leaning really into that, both spiritually and all of that. And then we just showed it, but now look at his body language. Like, is he leaning into it as much here?
Didn't see Lamar out there. Do you still anticipate him practicing this week?
You know, I think all the guys are working really hard to get back. I can tell you.
Come on. I mean, look, I get it. Gamemanship. It's Monday. You got your season. Perhaps your job security's on the line 6 days from now. We get it. There's a difference in terms of leading into the bye, and there's a different sense of urgency, obviously, after the bye. And you got a full night's sleep or somewhat close to it in that first clip that we had, not that one that we just shared there, but the one from Monday, meaning 8 days ago. It's just like, dude, you got an entire fan base. You got an entire city that is anticipating QB1 coming back to save this entire operation. And you don't give every room for doubt after the first way you handled it, back-to-back days, going back leading into the bye. It's a strange approach.
Yeah, and you mentioned gamesmanship, but it was like, well, last week he seemed to be okay with giving away the gamesmanship. Like last week he seemed to be okay with saying, yeah, the hope is Lamar will be back. So is he suddenly wanting to lean into gamesmanship, or is he psychologically down since he was leaning into it last week with Lamar not back? And that's why I say this answer yesterday was confusing, because the way it was phrased is, you said last week, you said you anticipate Lamar playing. And he said, same answer. Same answer to last week or same answer to the question before? That's what inquiring minds want to know. But here's the thing, Bobby. I am reserving judgment until Wednesday. Okay? Like, it may be that they want to give as much time for that hamstring to heal as possible. And usually, I don't know what they do on bye week, but usually they install the offense and defense on Wednesdays. Okay? So for now, I'm going to go ahead and pause my judgment and not worry too much about his answer, which was indeed confusing, and see if Lamar's out there Wednesday. If Lamar is not out there Wednesday, that's bad. Because originally, we remember the timeline was 2 to 3 weeks. It's been 3 weeks. John Harbaugh was optimistic. He was hopeful. So we don't usually practice on Monday. They didn't have pads on. Maybe they were just doing walkthrough type stuff. So get back to me on Wednesday, and I'll let you know whether or not I'm concerned.
And it goes without saying, for those that are inquiring in the live chat, obviously they're off today. Tuesday's an off day. So.
Yeah. Well, meanwhile, Bobby, let's just say that Lamar Jackson is not back on Wednesday. And I hate to even contemplate such an idea. But at practice, Morgan Adset, mute this, got some video of the two backup quarterbacks. You see to the left, Cooper Rush, and to the right is Snoop Tyler Huntley. And they're doing some drills with centers. Who's the center? Who's the center snapping to Cooper Rush? It is your starter, Tyler Linderbaum. He was not snapping to Tyler Huntley. Now, that's just in this video, and they only get to be out there for about 15, 20 minutes for warm-ups, and then the media has to take off. But you'll remember John Harbaugh was asked, well, maybe you don't remember again because you were out. Last week, John Harbaugh was asked at his Monday presser, hey, You pulled Cooper Rush. You brought in Tyler Huntley for the fourth quarter. Who is your primary backup quarterback? Who's number 2? And he said, well, yeah, it's still Cooper Rush. He's like, they're both worthy of the number 2 quarterback position, but it's Cooper Rush. And now we're seeing in practice that he's taking snaps from the starting center. So if Lamar can't go, it makes me nervous to think that he's going to go with Cooper Rush first, when I think clearly not only was Tyler Huntley better in the Rams game, but he inspired more confidence in his teammates. You saw everybody getting up for Tyler, including Lamar Jackson. And it just brought a spark to everybody. The teammates clearly believe in Tyler more than Cooper. So this makes me nervous that if Lamar can't go, John's still going to stick with Cooper.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think either option, to be quite frank, is going to get you past Chicago. I know that their record probably is a bit inflated. I think you suggested that yesterday. Yeah, they've won, 3 or 4 in a row coming into this weekend. I don't think, without Lamar, I have no belief that the Ravens will win this weekend. But I'm with you. Obviously, that was a much-needed spark. I think we both kind of felt like he deserved the entire second half, Snoop, after what Cooper put forth in that first half. And while there wasn't a lot that came from it, statistically speaking, or output-wise from Snoop, the offense at least moved. At least was able to work down the field. And so that is concerning, if indeed. But I'll exercise the patience that I think you're sort of pushing for today, knowing that today is off, and that if he doesn't show up on Wednesday, it's time to have a conversation leading into week 8.
Well, and meanwhile, Bobby, like, to your point, I mean, I gave a spoiler. Like, yesterday I was anticipating Lamar to be back this week, and maybe he still will be. If he's back, I will be predicting that the Ravens will beat the Bears. If he's not back, that does change things quite a bit. And you just said it. You're like, I don't really have faith that they'll be able to beat the Bears without him. Zay Flowers is correct here. Yesterday, when he was being interviewed, he said that the offense should be doing better even with Lamar sidelined. He said, quote, we've still got pieces. We've just got to put them together. But the Ravens have scored just 1 touchdown over the past 2 games. He's absolutely right. We've seen other teams be competitive without their starting quarterbacks. I mean, you still have Derrick Henry. You've got Zay Flowers. You've got 2 tight ends. You've got Rashad Bateman. You've got DeAndre Hopkins. The Ravens should still be competitive. And I think if Lamar's back or isn't back, but the Ravens make changes at the offensive line, that may be enough. Maybe. Like, if you put Tyler Huntley back there, say like you bench Daniel Fa'alele, we'll find out about that later this week, maybe not till Sunday. Then you might have a chance because other teams can do it. Why can't the Ravens do it? They've got to be able to do it. Coming out of a bye, even if Lamar's not there, if you were to make some changes on the offensive line, you should still be able to beat these Bears. That's what's crazy about the situation we're in. But I'm with you. I may not be, if Lamar's not there, I just don't know how in good faith I could predict the Ravens to win.
I got news for you. Even if he does come back, I'm going to be torn.
Really?
Torn. Oh, yeah. I'm going to be very torn.
Oh.
Yeah, definitely. Because a lot
Lamar,
of these
you don't think Lamar can lift him?
Well, I think he'll score points. I think he'll score points. I think he'll score more than 3 points. I know that.
3.5?
But no, I'll give him one. No, I mean, they're going to be competitive. Of course they're going to be competitive. It's Chicago. But I'm trying to be cognizant of some of the underlying issues that were both lingering before and after his absence. And so while it's obviously gone off a cliff the last couple of weeks without him, some of this stems from prior as well, particularly given the offensive line play. And I don't know if can it get much worse than what they've got from their starting guards through 6 weeks? No. And I'm with you. My hope is that some change takes place and is implemented by this coming Sunday. I just don't know if said change will immediately yield results, different results, that is. So, yeah, I'm definitely going to be pretty torn if QB1 shows up on Wednesday.
That'll be interesting. I'm a little bit surprised by that, but we'll
Well,
get to that.
I'm
We'll get to
I'm
that
certainly
bridge.
not saying they aren't going to show up. I mean, certainly not
Yeah.
suggesting that whatsoever. I think that there's a lot wrong with this team right now, and I don't know if one player, as great as that player is,
It's
will
not just
always
one
be.
player, as you know.
Yeah.
It's not going to be one player. Pat Ricard, Roquan. The
Well-
defense was better last week.
Well, we're not sure if Ricard's going to go.
Well,
We're not sure.
I'm banking on it. We'll get to those injury updates in a minute. Hey,
we
you
will.
did this to me last week. You were wrong about Marlon. You did the
Well-
same thing. Ooh, Marlon? I don't think Marlon's going to play.
Well, I had my
Marlon
doubts
was out
about
there.
my
Yeah.
doubts about Marlon. I did, and then
Yeah.
he ended up going out there, and the defense played well enough to win. I mean, right? I mean, the defense played well enough to win,
Yeah.
and we're going to get to him in just a bit. But you're right.
But
You're right.
Cheeto, Roquan, perhaps Ricard, my prediction. Maybe a change at right guard. Lamar
what do you-
Jackson back off of a bye.
What are you
Yeah.
getting with some of those players, though, in terms of where they're at? You know, it's hamstrings, it's groins, it's sensitive, lingering setbacks. So yeah, I mean, they're going to be obviously in much better shape if the majority of those names that you mentioned are back. Doesn't quite give me enough confidence to stand up on the table yet.
Well, I'm not talking about table. I don't know about pounding the table, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But I would like to ask the chat. Everybody give us your prediction. With Lamar, just put with Lamar equals win or loss. Without Lamar equals win or loss. What's your guys' predictions? As those come in, let me do this. Here's what we're not going to do. Okay. Here's what we're not going to do. We are not going to start a narrative, Emmanuel Acho, about Lamar Jackson being super injury prone. Bobby, the way they were talking about this on their new show, I did not like this. Listen to this.
You depend on Lamar because in the playoffs, sometimes he underachieves. And then in the regular season, he gets hurt 50% of the time. That's 50% of seasons Lamar Jackson has missed time. So, like, how are you supposed to move forward as a franchise knowing, dang, my quarterback be getting hurt, and when he gets to the playoffs, he doesn't maximize his potential? I feel like you're almost stuck between a rock and a hard place. It's a first world problem with Lamar Jackson, but it's a problem nonetheless, 2-5. Let me ask you this, 2-5. You love Lamar Jackson as much as anybody
Yes,
on
I
national
do.
television.
Lamar different.
But you also love the truth as much as anybody on national television.
I love that more.
You play with Tom Brady. Tom Brady rarely ever got hurt. He missed that one season with an ACL. That's about it, 2008. You play with Patrick Mahomes. He don't ever get hurt. He took a quarterback sneak one time. He got hurt. He missed 4 games. He don't ever get
I
hurt.
was in the game for that.
Were you?
Yeah.
So you won Super Bowls with both those dudes. If Lamar Jackson was your quarterback, give me a question. Don't give me a question as a player. Answer as a general manager. Like, what's your move, bro? What's your move?
I mean, what are you asking me though? What's my move about what?
Meaning, like, do you ever
Come to the office.
Do
Talk to me.
you realistically believe you can win a Super Bowl? Not the talent aspect, the health.
Oh nah, I think so. I mean, he's been healthy in the playoffs.
Snoop Huntley started a playoff game, if I'm not mistaken.
I ain't watched that game.
Like, do you worry at all about the injuries? Obviously, Mike Vick, his last year in Philly, got hurt.
Everybody gets injured. I mean,
But he gets injured more
the
than
guys
most.
you talked about, they don't really get injured. They don't. But
Correct.
Lamar plays in playoff games. He does do that. He plays in playoff games. So to answer your question, yes, if I'm a GM, I'm happy with my quarterback. I think with the 2-time MVP, we can win a Super Bowl. I believe it.
Dude, the fact that he gets injured more often than not even more often than not. The best quarterbacks in football right now: Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. Josh and Pat, they don't miss time. I've disqualified Joe Burrow from this conversation because of how much time he misses.
I respect that. Yeah, I respect that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, Joe misses too much time to still be in the best quarterback conversation. Lamar's starting to get to that point.
No, Lamar's not starting to get to that point. He had to correct himself halfway through that, Bobby, and that was on Speakeasy. What are we doing here? He first said Lamar Jackson misses half the time. Then he had to correct himself, and he said half the seasons. So is that how we're going to do it? Like if somebody missed one game in a season, does that count as one full season? Half the seasons he got injured? And like he's getting to that point of Joe Burrow? No, he's not. What are we doing here? Why does it have to always get so exaggerated? Here are his injuries. He's missed 2 games this year with the hamstring. He missed 6 in 2022 with a PCL sprain, and he missed 4 with an ankle sprain in 2021. So Lamar Jackson, since he's become a starter, so midway through 2018, the potential number of games he could have started was 113. He has missed a total of 12 games due to injury. Do you know what percentage that is of games that he's played in 89% of the games when not being injured? Now, if you want to add illness, one of them was COVID and then 2 other illnesses. He still played in 87% of his games. 87%. You can't say he's missed half the time. Oh, I mean half the seasons he's been injured. How many quarterbacks have missed half their seasons because they got dinged up once for a small period of time? It's just reckless. And then it's like, and then you're using that to ask, can you depend on Lamar Jackson? And Shady McCoy is there like, well, everybody gets injured. He's played in 87% of his games. What are we talking about? We're not doing that.
I think more so than reckless, it's outdated. That conversation I probably would have been more receptive to after the 2022 season, right? Where
it was back-to-back seasons.
Of course, and it's outdated because we remember that conversation has been had, but we're 3+ years removed from those conversations. And so certainly I was a lot more receptive to it after as you see on the screen here, missing chunks of time, both in 21 and 22. And what was the
like, oh, he's a running quarterback when he was injured both those times in the pocket.
I see what there was that. But I was also saying, what's the one similarity between those 2 seasons? When he was out and when he went down, the Ravens were either atop the conference or atop the division. And when he came back or when the season was over, obviously they were one and done with Snoop, or just straight up missed the playoffs entirely. So, I mean, it's outdated.
Read in Super Chats?
Sure. Appreciate you guys for being with us on this Tuesday. Over 3,000 concurrents at the moment. And we want to say thanks to Primary Residential Mortgage for the continued support and sponsoring this program exclusively now for several months running. They've been a partner of the Bobby Baltimore channel over the last couple of years, and we brought them on at the beginning of the season. We're thrilled to have them, and they want to send a couple messages to you guys, including this: whether you're buying your first home, looking to expand as your family grows, or maybe you just want to simplify now that you're retired, the Primary Residential Mortgage team will help you find the right financing options for you, and they can also help you access your home equity or save money through refinancing. So whatever your home financing needs are, they're here to help. And one of those ways that they can help you right now is if you click on the link that we have included in our show notes, it'll take you to the Vault's specific landing page at primeres.com, where you can just simply press apply now and go through that process, which is super easy and efficient. You can contact them by filling out this form, as you see on the right-hand side of the screen. All of our social links and this sweet, slick banner that they have for us is accordingly featured right here. YouTube, our Twitter accounts, you name it, so on and so forth. And then on top of this, and of course, we're about a month removed from the Fed finally cutting rates, so you can keep up to date with that as well. You can reach out to Primary Residential Mortgage today, find what the Fed rate cut could mean for you and your family and maybe an upcoming move. And then, as we've been talking about all month, partner, the best part about this all is the $100 Fanatics gift card giveaway that we have. And we have right now in our pinned comment, for those of you that are watching live, if you're in the audio only space or you're not watching this live but on YouTube, you can go to the show notes where you can find this link waiting for you. If you want to enter yourself into this month's $100 Fanatics gift card giveaway, which is directly used towards Baltimore's team store, it's the Ravens online team store, simply click on that link, comment on the Instagram post with the hashtag Vault. Let them know what your dream home looks like, what it consists of, everything that you have in your dreams. Follow them at PRMI Mid-Atlantic on Instagram. Easy enough. And simply just subscribe to us if you don't already do so. And then if you want to go the extra mile, because if you win, this is going to allow them to easily contact you. You can scan the QR code on the screen or just click this Google form link right here. Fill out. Literally, it takes 30 seconds to fill out so that they and we can easily reach you should you win. Thanks to Primary. And partner, if you haven't already checked out, I think you have, but if you haven't already checked out what's at stake, if you want to, with that $100, if you end up winning it on the team store.
I think I'm disqualified, right?
Well, yes, but there's a lot of great. What I'm saying is there's a lot of merch out there.
Yeah.
I know it's tough times right now, but there's nothing that a little slick starter jacket can't fix, So anyway, thanks to Primary for the continued support. You guys can go get involved if you're interested by visiting the show notes, pinned comment, you name it, ticker information as well on the bottom line, which is streaming right now. Douglas H. Brown Sr. got us started earlier this morning with our first super chat. What's up, DHB Sr.? For you, partner.
He also emailed us last night to
Yes,
explain his absence. He's like, it's not that I don't want to be there. It's just that work has been so much. I love Douglas. I love him.
Yep, me too.
He says, hopefully I can be here for the entire chat today, trying to be hopeful.
Love it. Keep bringing it, Douglas. Monica's celebrating 6 months of channel membership with us and says, keeping positive vibes for Lamar and our second half of the season. That brings us to Richard.
He says, if I'm Lamar, I sit out. You had 3 to 4 weeks to change the line that got me injured, and you haven't even considered testing other guys until after the bye.
If he sits out, not to get down a rabbit hole right now, what kind of message is that sending to his peers, Richard? If he's healthy.
Lamar's not that kind of guy.
It's just
like, I know this is the same thing I said before. Like when he went out during the Chiefs game, Ravens fans wanted to stick it to the Ravens so badly that it's like, yeah, Lamar could have gone back in, but he's, they're sticking it to Harbaugh. And then we find out, no, the injury was real. But when you push that type of narrative, then the entire league looks at it like the Chiefs fans are like, we made Lamar quit. We made Lamar quit. And then it makes Lamar look soft. That is not a road you want to go down. It is not Lamar Jackson's not that guy. We've been down this before. It's not my favorite thing when people do this type of stuff. He's a professional. He's paid for what he does. The Ravens for sure should make offensive line changes, but also Lamar will play when he's healthy. He's not that kind of guy. He's a competitive guy. He's a football player. He wants to be great. He's not doing things to stick it to people. I'm sure if he went in and said, guys, I want you to change the offensive line, I bet they would listen.
Love you, Richard. Tie My Shoes says fans aren't going to the game if Lamar isn't starting. My guess is Ravens brass would want Harbaugh to tell the media if Lamar was going to play. The bank has been a library since he got hurt, and certainly attendance and screenshots of the game from the in-game broadcasts have suggested it has been quiet. Douglas is back answering your question from earlier, and he thinks if Lamar can go this weekend, he will be picking the Ravens to win. I'm sure many agree with that.
Not surprising. Yeah. Asmodeus is back. He says, Odd Show, you're confusing LJ8 with Burrow, you clown.
Laney says if Lamar is back, the Ravens win. And by the way, to be clear, he did say that Joe's not even in the conversation because he's disqualified.
Right, but then at the end, he said he's getting to that point. No.
Laney says if Lamar is back, the Ravens win. He'll give the team a boost in confidence and raise morale, which is desperately needed. Maybe. And Richard has a response. He says, if I'm not putting words in Lamar's mouth, this is what I would do if I was Lamar.
Appreciate the clarification. Appreciate you, Richard.
Appreciate you. Okay. There were some other notes, including availability, including Zay Flowers' apology, and a few other things from the media scrum, if you will, locker room availability, let's call it, that took place yesterday, Sarah, at One Winning Drive.
Yeah, I really appreciate Zay for this. Anybody that's watched the show knows that I'm a proponent of players, whether they have a good game or bad game, they come and talk to the media. And I actually think it's even more important when you have a bad game. And it's not because I want the quotes or need the quotes. Our show will go on. Our show goes on in July when there's no football going on. It has nothing to do with that. It's more for the player themselves to keep their head up high and be able to look, as I say often, ugly in the eye. And I feel like it's a leadership role. I think it shows to your teammates that, like, good or bad, I'm going to lead this team, both with my actions, my words, and everything that I do in between. And I feel like Zay Flowers understands that. I really appreciate that yesterday, this is how he started off his media scrum inside the locker room.
Before y'all say something, I want to say I apologize for leaving early. I respect y'all jobs, and I respect what y'all do, so it won't happen again. Appreciate y'all. But we good now. I'm ready to go.
Zay, I mean, from that last game, this is the first time we've gotten a chance to talk to you since that last game. I know those are probably tough plays to look at. I mean, what do you kind of see on tape, and what goes into making sure some of those fumbles don't happen again?
Oh no! Oh, I thought you were handing it to me. But I think I lock in a little bit more. You know, like the first one, I was trying to make a play. The second one, I just mishandled the ball. So there ain't really too much to think about. You just got to hold the ball.
Is there kind of an adjustment?
See, and Bobby, I said after the game, like we would have noted the 2 fumbles, but we would have moved on, right? And that's it. We're not going to go relive the 2 plays. I think Zay can do better. And it's not even about, like he said, hey, I appreciate you guys, and I know you guys have a job to do. And again, for me, it's not even about that. Like, it's not like we deserve to hear anything from him. It's not about us. It's about him. It's about him. I think you will keep your confidence higher. And there's a lot of confidence issues on this team based off of anonymous quotes given by players, plus what we're going to talk about with Marlon Humphrey later on. And I think that being able to keep your head up in the face of adversity makes you stronger. It makes you better. I would have loved it if Mark Andrews did this. I would love it if other guys that have ducked out on the defense earlier this season, there's been more than one. But to me, this is a leadership move, and I really appreciate it. I don't even personally need the apology. I just him saying I'm not going to do this again, and I'll be here win or lose. That's a leadership move, and I appreciate the growth out of him.
I think it means very little internally, but that doesn't mean that it can't mean something to the way that your locker room and you yourself as a professional is perceived by those who support you, that those who put butts in seats. And that's obviously been lacking recently for obvious reasons. And so, again, I just don't think it really moves people in terms of his peers, the guys that he suits up alongside, but it goes a long way from the optics that from the outside looking in. And so
no, I think it does do something with peers. That's that part I kind of disagree with. It's like,
I don't think anybody
when
really cares
when
about
you're a peer and you have to answer for your teammate, even they would be like, yeah, no, I'm cool to do that. But when it's like, look at Derrick Henry and be like, man, he had this fumbling spree. And even in the moment, sure, I would have answered for him and I would have had his back. But I'm always going to remember that rain or shine, Derrick Henry was accountable. Rain or shine, Derrick Henry was big enough to show up when he was down. And those types of things, it means something to people around him. Again, his teammates, just like they were for Mark Andrews, they were there for him and they answered for him, but it means something in the back of their minds. And neither one of us can speak for the entire locker room, but I bet for some of those guys, it sits in their back of their mind, remembering that he's a leader in tough moments.
I don't know. I generally speaking, there's such a disconnect between today's player community and the local media member community that I think there's this general thought that none of what they do post-game or are required to do contractually in terms of meeting with the media post-game. I don't think they place a ton of value in that. And so while I think you could absolutely salute the way that Derrick has handled himself post-game, I don't know if that, like if he were to not show up after a loss, I don't know if that would be like when you're suiting up alongside him the following week, you're like, man, this guy, he's not a team player. You know what I mean? Like, I think we're off there a little bit with the way that we see that. But one thing that I think
and like I said, I think there are probably some teammates that take your view, and I bet there are some that take my view.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Continue.
So on from him though, just we kind of mentioned it earlier. Just want to get the full practice report yesterday. There were only 2 players on the 53-man roster that were not at practice. Obviously, one was Lamar, which we talked about. The other one is Tavius Robinson, which it'll be interesting to see if they do put him on the short-term IR. John Harbaugh did confirm that it's not a season ender, so they won't put him on season-ending IR. So there's that. But Roquan returned, as we noted. Chidobe Awuzie returned from his hamstring. Ronnie Stanley returned with that ankle. And Patrick Ricard was there for the second week. Was it the second week in a row? Maybe third. I'm like losing time now.
You
I
had
had a second week. And then John Harbaugh was asked about Patrick Ricard, and he said, yeah, Patrick Ricard did more in practice today than he had been doing. So he's ramping up. He's ramping
You know what?
up.
I'm sorry,
And-
Sarah. It was leading into the Rams week where he started to show up. So this would be the third week.
Okay, so third week. Yeah. So it feels like he should be ready if they're ramping up. Of course, there could always be a setback. Last week, I think, again, you were out, but on the Ravens Collective, your show, Jeff Zrebeck was also saying he was anticipating Patrick Ricard's return. So just based off of the way he's seen him in the moments that he's been able to watch him in practice.
I hear you on that. It's like maybe I'm getting tripped up on the way that he handled everything. He took the Lamar question and then made it about everybody, sort of leading everybody to believe that there was uncertainty about every player that might be questionable going into the week. But yeah, you certainly hope that it hasn't been let's be clear. It hasn't been 3 full weeks.
It will have been 3 full weeks.
I think it'll have been 2 full weeks at the end of this week, right? Because if he showed up at practice at the end of the week leading into the Rams week, which was Thursday or Friday, a week would have been this past Thursday or Friday, and then this coming week will have been 2 weeks for Pat. So while it's the third week, yes, in terms of Monday through Sunday, you know what I mean?
Not to get sticky, but if he came back Thursday, he had before the Rams, that's 2 practices. Then last week they had practice during their off week. And I can't remember if they had 2 or 3, but he practiced last week. And then this week he will practice leading into the Bears game. So that will have been 3 weeks of practice.
Practice days. Yeah, sessions.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'm talking calendar more.
We're getting into the weeds here
than practice. But you're right. Yeah, it's a chunk of time. You hope that he can go. The run game desperately needs him. The offensive line desperately needs him, doing whatever he possibly can for him. Every aspect really of this offense needs 42. But again, it's not gonna take one guy to fix this thing overnight, but it certainly will help.
It will certainly help. This will help. Roquan Smith has returned to practice, as we saw. The Ravens Productions put up video of his return, and this is him returning against his former team. He's already played against them, and he told media that he does anticipate playing. Not that he's just back for practice, but that he does anticipate playing. He obviously downplayed, going up against his former team. It's been a few years now, so it still is nice to beat your former team. But he said, quote, "It's about me doing my job to the best of my ability." And then, he's coming back with enthusiasm. He feels like the Ravens are going to pull themselves out of this 1-5 hole. He says, quote, "I'm confident. I know each and every guy in this locker room and who I am. Just excited to show how rejuvenated we are. We're ready to unleash and show who we are." A lot of Roquanisms in there. We're ready to unleash. He's confident. He knows who everybody is. So, listen, based off of what we're hearing, even if that's just talk, it seems like they need a confidence boost on that defensive side.
Oh, and we're going to get to why in just a bit. Not that anybody needs a reminder. Just to be clear, I watched this entire interview this morning. And so while these words are matching up to your point with the Roquan we're used to knowing and hearing from and watching, the body language and the tone, and let's call it the inflection that typically comes along with it, not as much, I thought.
Not
Just
as much as Roe usually is.
A bit subdued, I thought.
Okay.
So again, in my opinion, in the body language reading community or whatever, I just thought that for Roquan standards, it was a subdued press conference. And remember, Sarah, you would think, given the fact that he spent the beginning of his NFL career in Chicago, there's a lot of emotions coming up for this one. So maybe he's waiting. Maybe he's waiting to do that post game. Don't know.
What impact do you think Roquan returning the defense is going to have?
And so my answer to this is exactly why it was giving me pause earlier on in the show in terms of like, okay, yes, I hear you. There's optimism around a lot of these players, and there has been for weeks given their timetables to return this weekend. Why I'm balking at it is Roquan has struggled this year, both pre hamstring, and we'll have to see what's going to become of him post hamstring. And that's an injury that scares you just in terms of the way that it lingers and your mobility, that sometimes the limitations come with that. So I have my doubts that a 100% Roquan Smith will be out there on Sunday, but I know this for sure. It's going to be a whole lot better than what they've had in level 2 the last couple of weeks, given that they've been leaning on really young players who just simply aren't ready yet.
Yeah. Yeah, obviously he had his one good game, really good game against the Browns where he was named Defensive Player of the Week. So I'd love to get that Roquan back. It's a little bit different when you're going against the Cleveland Browns. But I am interested. I do feel like, having Teddy Buchanan and Trenton Simpson out there, Teddy at times didn't feel like he was always in the right spot. And when Kyle Hamilton came back, it just was a much better organized defense with that communication which should be expected. Kyle Hamilton is an all-pro. Teddy Buchanan is a 4th round rookie, so that's to be expected. So I do think that Roquan at least is going to be in all the right places. He knows where he's supposed to be. He's going to be able to communicate. And, hopefully we get that week 2 version of him along with this 3 safety look. Marlon's out there. Cheeto, looking like he's trending towards being out there outside of which is a big one, outside of Tavius Robinson and Nnamdi Madubuike. You're about as full force as you can be, but I'm still nervous. To me, I like Roquan back. I'm just still nervous about getting pressure on quarterbacks because this 3 safety look, Roquan could be back, all of that. But if the quarterback has all the time in the world to pick apart the defense, no secondary linebackers in coverage are going to be able to keep up the whole time. So we're going to find out a lot if they can still manufacture some of this pressure. That's what they've been talking about, because they don't have the dogs to do it. To just go one-on-one and create pressure. They're going to have to manufacture it for sure.
Yeah. What will Roquan, like, to piggyback off of that, what will Roquan's arrival or return potentially? Well, he says he's playing, so let's call it his return is coming Sunday.
Yeah.
He's not going to miss that against his former team. Let's be honest. What will his return though do for this pass rush? Underneath pass coverage is going to be more buttoned up. Level 2 is going to be more buttoned up.
Maybe the run game won't make it to the 3rd level as often.
Run defense will be a little bit more buttoned up. Communication, you'd like to think that maybe that's the biggest part. Communication, alignment, the overall, streamlining that entire thing. He'll have of course, the green dot back in his headset to communicate with Zach and relay accordingly. So maybe that will be for the better. Outside of Lamar, I actually think, in terms of the importance of returns, Lamar's obviously first in a different stratosphere for what that would mean. 2, I think, based on some of the reasons that we just discussed, alignment-wise, communication-wise, it's Roquan for me. And then 3, it's actually Cheeto. I think Cheeto's played some good football for them and could be an impactful player getting back in there. They've missed him. I know he's a CB3 and somebody that maybe folks don't have a ton of familiarity with since he's new. But that's a dude who gets it. He's got AFC North football. He one of the lone bright spots, I think, for the first 6 weeks, even though he's missed the last couple, is Cheeto Uzie. So I think that would be my top 3 in terms of biggest impact for a return timetable.
Let's get to 3 more super chats, then you can lead us through this Marlon Humphrey presser or scrum inside the locker room. Oh, is there more?
Well, just one more note.
Oh, my bad.
I'm with you though. One more note. You had this in here on Emory Jones, the rookie tackle. Jeff just relaying what he heard from Harbaugh yesterday at the press conference, that he has not been fully cleared by doctors yet. He will not play on Sunday. He's in the middle of his 21-day window, as you see here, which closes this week. He has not yet been activated off of the non-football injury list, but John Harbaugh does expect him to be added to the roster. So again, not sure what what's going to become of his rookie year at this point, Sarah. Has not had, were you the one that told me yesterday that just regurgitating what you had heard a couple weeks back from Harbaugh, that he hadn't recorded one pass blocking rep in practice?
Well, he wasn't cleared until during the bye week. So the bye week was the first time he was cleared to do pass blocking reps.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, obviously no training camp, no offseason reps under his belt. So just not sure what you can rely on him for, I think, at this point, knowing that it will be a transition too, if indeed you do want to try him out at guard in the future, because he was drafted to be a tackle.
Well, either way, John Harbaugh said they're not putting him back on IR.
There you go.
So he's going to be on the 53-man roster. I don't know that means as soon as, like, when we get the news that he's on the 53-man roster and there'll have to be a corresponding move. I don't know that will be a sign that he's like ready to start.
Sure.
Like maybe they feel good about him as a backup option,
Yeah,
but maybe not ready to start yet.
That's a lot to ask. I mean,
the
guy's still recovering, I'm sure, just in terms of game speed and game strength and the car wreck that is every play when you're in the trenches from a freaking labrum surgery that he underwent after the combine. That's not all that, we're not all that far removed from it.
And that's the physical side. I'm just saying, like, John was talking about him having to like diagnose pressures and, the way they, try to, confuse offensive linemen and this and that, and to know the calls and
what about some of the polling concepts that they still have from the Greg Roman era?
Yeah.
All
sorts of stuff.
Yeah. Sudesh is making sure he's on the record. If Lamar's playing this weekend, he'll be predicting a Ravens win. GW Wells Bogue, this is a new one. What's up, GW? He says, Bobby, it's about accountability. Leaders don't go ducking off when things get hard, especially knowing you're leaving your rookies to handle very hard questions. I know it's about accountability. I'm more so saying and commenting that optics-wise, it means a lot more to us on the outside or the fans than it does inside. That's my thought. Is that across the board to Sarah's point? No, some probably feel the way Sarah does, and some internally.
I don't know that
maybe
it does
like
mean more to the fans. I've heard the fans be like, it's fine.
Well, I've seen some counter that they don't care, and some want to hear them, which you understand. I get it. Of course, you'd want to hear from them, especially after two fumbles.
I'm not this extreme, but like I pulled up a tweet a while back where like Coach Evans of Sip to Tally called him a coward. Like for some, like that's how hard it hits. It's just like, I have a question for you personally, because you're talking more of like how you think players feel about it. I feel like when we first started the show, you and I were big time on the same page that players should show up at locker room.
That hasn't changed.
That hasn't changed. Okay.
No, that hasn't changed. All right. That hasn't changed. It's just I have a.
So why do you see him? Why do you want to see him at I've pretty much explained me. Why do you want to see him there after bad games?
Well, no, I don't disagree with your rationale. I'm just providing the counterpoint of that. I don't think people are moved by it. Not everybody's moved by it online, internally, inside the locker room, as peers, as teammates of his. Just a counterpoint. So I have no issue.
Have you heard of? Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. Yeah. All right. You're probably right.
I have heard rumblings for reason to believe that folks internally aren't moved by disappearing from the post-game press conference.
Yeah. How do you think Derrick Henry feels about it? How do you think Ray Lewis felt about it? How do you think Ed Reed felt about it?
I'm not here to dispute any of that.
Yeah.
I'm not here to dispute any of that. And I'm not, and I'm still on record for agreeing with you that you're darn right it sends the right message, and you appreciate it. Especially the way that Derrick, in the midst of all this, even after his fumbles, getting up there, you appreciate that. You respect that. Not sure it changes the way that guys that he suits up alongside on game day feel about him. If he weren't to show, like Zay didn't. Ravens 54th man for you.
He says, still going to the Miami game. No paper bag fans. Thumbs down emoji.
There will be Dolphins fans there, just to be clear, that have paper bags on their heads, assuming that nothing changes between now and then for that franchise. Captain writes, if everyone plays, it's Lamar, Pat, Roquan as importance of players returning. Max Crosby is coming up in trade rumors for Dallas. Shaking my head. I did see that. Trey Wingo, formerly of ESPN, tweeted right at the start of our show, Sarah, that Dallas has inquired. It's going to take a lot, the entire kitchen sink and then some, to actually get Max Crosby.
What did they just get for Parsons? Maybe they have some stuff.
They got a lot for him. Yeah. I'd have to think it's going to take multiple first rounders, at least one first rounder. Maybe more for Crosby. What the heck are you giving up for him? I mean, you're giving limbs up for him.
Let's see what they got here from Parsons. Okay. The Packers got Parsons. The Cowboys got defensive tackle Kenny Clark, a 2026 first-round pick, and a 2027 first-round pick.
Yeah, so it's at least multiple. The floor, the floor should be multiple first-rounders and probably multiple players.
Well, let's see how old each guy is, because that plays a lot in these front offices. So Micah Parsons is 26 years old. That's like right starting your prime. Let's see how old Mike, and he's 28, so it's not, he's older, but he's not over the hill, obviously.
Yeah, far from it. Thanks, Captain. And by the way, expect a lot of those talks, those tweets, those reports to start hitting the timeline between now and the 4th.
Yeah.
Right. Some
time.
of it's agents' strategy. Others maybe have a little bit of meat on that bone. But we are 2 weeks from today, right? 2 weeks from today, November 4th, 4 p.m. Eastern is the NFL trade deadline. Appreciate you guys for being with us today. Over 4,500 concurrents on a big Tuesday. Ravens have off today. They'll be back at practice for the first of 3 coming up tomorrow, which will officially begin week 8 of this regular season. It's Ravens-Bears coming up on Sunday, 1 o'clock at M&T Bank Stadium. It's a must-win. There's no question about it. The longest tenured defensive Ravens, Sarah, has had a lot to say, and you really got to go all the way back to the offseason when Marlon Humphrey made some comments that I know stirred a buzz, both inside this here vault and within the fan base. Essentially saying, I'm paraphrasing, or maybe this is just word for word, we are not feared as a defense the way that we used to be. And we need to get back to that. Man, does it feel like a long time coming, or a long time since those comments were had. And he's had a lot to say since. And this defense has obviously struggled mightily through the first 6 weeks of this season. He sat down for a media scrum on Monday, Sarah, leading into, again, week 8, Ravens-Bears. And I've got 5 different clips here, okay? 5 different clips in terms of how he handled a bunch of different questions that were wide-ranging. I'm actually going to begin in opposite of chronological order because I thought that the most interesting part was his final answer in terms of this razor-thin margin for error that they're living in right now, the importance of Sunday against the Bears, playing week to week, playing game to game, and ultimately where this team stands right now as a defense from his perspective.
Greater if we could beat the Chicago Bears this Sunday. I think we are 1-5. We are like 1-5. We've won 1 game, lost 5 games. The only thing I think anybody wants to do is just to win 1 game. If you're focused on anything other than that, I hope you let somebody know, because you need to either meet with our mental health person or somebody, because we need to focus on 1 game, 1 practice. I just want to win a game. That would be like really cool. I'd be really happy. It's just not fun to lose games. It's something I told the defense. I've never really been a loser in my entire life. I'm not really cool with being a loser. I'm not really comfortable with being a loser. So I just want to win 1 game. And if that's not everybody's mindset, there needs to be a sit down and figure it out how we can get that on your mindset, because I think that's going to be the only way going forward for us to win 1 game.
All right, so our guy Fem's in the chat. Welcome into Femi Ayambadejo, friend of the show, and he's claiming that I've been hit by the negativity bug. Fem, I got to be honest with you. To me, I think this is just the realest bug that I've overcome, that I've been diagnosed with over the bye week. Because, Sarah, I got to be honest with you. I think this team is cooked the way that Marlon Humphrey's body language is cooked. And I just can't find any other way to continue to search for that optimism, even though you presented 5 legitimate reasons yesterday as to why that could be the case. I just think there's something bigger that this team is trying to overcome right now, and I think it's too little too late. So while mathematically they're very much still in it should they win, and even if they lose, mathematically they got to go on a historic run after the Bears if they lose the Bears, and a lot would need to happen and fall into place. But listen to this. Quote, I've never really been a loser in my entire life. I'm not really cool with being a loser. I'm not really comfortable with being a loser. I just want to win 1 game. If that's not everybody's mindset, there needs to be a sit down to figure out how we can get that on your mindset, because that's going to be the only way going forward to win one game. I didn't transcribe it here, but I know the quote that stood out to you, Sarah, in our pre-show meeting was essentially suggesting his peers or his teammates, if their mindset isn't about doing everything that it takes to win on Sunday against the Bears, then maybe they want to go consult the team's mental health person or therapist that I know you know is in the building.
Yes,
the
which
building that you spent
Ravens do
over a
have,
decade.
and I know where the office is and all of that.
There you go. So again, one of 5 snippets that I have. I want to get your reaction to his body language, his thoughts, and what you make of that first part of his recent presser.
Well, it's funny because you bring up Femi commenting on, like, what was it? The negativity bug? Is that what he said you have?
I think he thinks I got sick in Banff, which who knows, with the time change and with the cold temperatures, you never know. Hey, just so you know, my aunt Sarah, I've been sucking down vitamin C,
there you go,
electrolytes, ready to go. So
got to get it done, get ahead of it.
I'll be there with you.
All sorts of vitamins. Well, what's funny is, and I said this yesterday, I'm with Femi in that I came out of the bye being like, okay, here we go. This is the Ravens Super Bowl, and they're going to win it. It's the regular season Super Bowl, unfortunately, against the Chicago Bears, because so much is riding on this game. And you knew that a ton of players would be coming back. I was anticipating Lamar Jackson being back. Again, I'm going to reserve my judgment for Wednesday. I had 5 reasons. I was ready to go with a headline for it. I was like, 5 reasons why you should have optimism that the Ravens are going to go on a run.
Yeah.
Number 1, that they have a lighter, easier schedule. 5 of 6 teams to start were playoff teams. One of the next 6 not former playoff teams from last year. They're going to be healthier. There's your second reason. The defense is already turning things around with this new 3 safety look. And again, these guys coming back. Then you've got EDC. He's working the phones. If they can win this game, then he'll go and make a big move. And then number 5, this is a weak AFC North and really a bigger, like, kind of weaker AFC in general, minus the Indianapolis Colts. So I had 5 reasons thinking, yes, it's going to be positive.
Is there a butt coming here?
Here comes the butt. But then I watch people like Marlon Humphrey, and I'm like, dude, the way you're talking is as if you just lost a game. Like, sometimes you can take that body language.
Thank you.
And it's like, well, they just lost, so of course they're down. But by the time we hear from them on Wednesday, they'll be back up, right? Because they have a 24-hour rule. Well, they're coming off of a bye, and guys are coming back healthy, and he looks depressed. And I'm like, why isn't anybody matching my energy? Like, should I be matching their energy? Like, where's, like, John Harbaugh comes out, and he's like, got that face on again. He wasn't like, oh, yeah, I'm leaning into the psychology of Lamar coming back with smiles, right? It's just like, you're coming out of the bye. It's been more than a week since you lost the last game without Lamar. And you're coming in here and you're like, I'm not a loser. And if you aren't in a mentality of taking this one game at a time, go talk to our team mental health therapist.
Yes.
Like,
this is all I'm trying to say.
And that's also coming off of, like, and again, I still feel like they can go on a run. I just don't know that they believe it. Remember this yesterday, Bobby? We were talking about the anonymous players talking. This anonymous player from the Baltimore Sun, he says it was that Bills game that put a beating on us mentally, where it felt like everything was ending, even though it was our first game. He was like, when we have so much time to recover, such a long season, and we let that carry over, well, it's still carrying over in their body language and the way he's talking. Like, yes. I want them to match my energy. But they aren't.
I love what you and Femi are doing. I don't disagree with it. I'm just trying to be a realist, guys. I got more snippets, by the way, because he wasn't done there, Sarah. It wasn't exactly an infusion of energy, refreshment, so on and so forth, which you would think most humans would have coming off a 7-day layoff, or call it break, whatever. Like, I'm telling you, there was clip after clip, including this, about alignment changes that were made, whether it was Kyle Hamilton, Marlon, or others defensively in week 6 against the Rams. Here's Marlon.
And what do you think of the changes you guys implemented with, Kyle moving to the nickel, you playing more on the outside? Your impression of that, and how do you think that can help the defense moving forward?
Sure.
I guess I could, the honest answer is we still lost, so I don't really know what it really did. The objective is to win, so I could say, it looked like this, but the result was still a loss. So we're still, I think, trying to figure out, what we can do going forward to hopefully win some games and kind of get the stink up off everybody.
I take no pleasure in this. Hopefully you guys will clip me 6 weeks from now. They're cooked. This team is cooked. Stick a fork in them, Sarah. Stick a fork in them. I'm sorry. This team is cooked. And I love your reasons for optimism. They are valid. They are relatively realistic. But not if this is what's going on internally. Not if this is suggestive or representative of what we've seen transition to on-tape film for weeks now. I have to sit here and look myself in the mirror and say, when a team that you've covered for as many years as we have, and you double me up in that category, shows you who they are, which is so far from what they've been, what they should be, and what they can be, at some point you got to believe them. And I have a hard time at this point leaning on the optimism that you've provided. I just, at this point, I can't bring myself, I can't will myself to believe that this isn't who they are. This is who they are. Their record is who they are. And they're in trouble. They're in trouble.
Yeah. Listen, I think we're
trouble.
picking up on the same body language for sure. We're both feeling it. I want them to match my energy, obviously. Maybe I'll be 2 weeks behind you. I'm not going to say the Ravens. I'm not going to say the Ravens are cooked. If they were to lose the next, maybe even 1 week, if they were to lose this week, but for sure after 2 weeks, I will then say that they're cooked. But I cannot join you now, and it would bring me so much pleasure if we could clip you and they go on a little run and we just throw that back in your face. That would bring me so much pleasure.
Here's Femi chiming in on something from earlier on as a former player himself. I guarantee players do not care if teammates skip media. They care way more about internal team dynamics, as it is 99% of the job. Some perspective from a former player, not to take a victory lap whatsoever, just throwing that in there. More from Femi. He says, I hear all this body language talk. They understand the gravity of the situation. You are completely misreading the message. So countering what I just shared. More from Marlon in the meantime, clarifying some recent comments that were misinterpreted, Sarah, or misrelayed, or maybe not by you.
I corrected you.
Not by you. You were correct in the sense that when Marlon referred to the defense or the team as immature, that was simply relaying what John Harbaugh told the team earlier on after a loss. Here's Marlon for the first time clarifying what Sarah picked up on weeks ago. Even though I didn't take a victory lap on you, you decided to.
Yeah.
Zach Orrin said that thought you guys played with the most intensity you've played all year against the Rams. Week one, you thought maybe this defense wasn't mature enough. Do you feel like you guys have had to mature quickly or gotten to where you hope to be or want to be at this point?
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys remember when I said the mature thing. I was saying what Coach Harbaugh said. Yeah. And then I get a report sent to me that I said we weren't mature, and so I don't know which one of y'all just put that out there, but then that was not my quote. That was a quote I was putting out there. So I can't really speak on that. I was just speaking on the quote that was said to us. So that would be a Harbaugh question.
So defers to Harbaugh there. Again, just wanted to be clear on that. So clarifying something that had been misinterpreted by myself and others, many others, I might add, in terms of, what was it, a month ago? I can't remember. But John Harbaugh referred to the team as immature. Yeah. More from Marlon, Sarah, in terms of how you can turn this thing around. And I kind of feel like this is somewhat contradicting, given we're 24 hours removed from the Baltimore Sun's credible report, speaking to 25 different sources, either within or around the Ravens organization, about some of the disconnect that's going on, a lot of which was offensively. Here is Marlon on his thoughts on one of the lone bright spots so far this year.
Have to do to start playing more consistent winning football really on both sides?
Yeah, I've kind of given up on what we need to do. I'm putting all that in the coaches' hands. The coaches give us what we need to do, and we try to go from there. Biggest thing I'm trying to do is just to do my job, do my assignment, and kind of do my own independent studies. Take what I have, take what the coaches have. Try to go there Sunday, be the best version of myself, help the guys in whatever way I can. But to give the answer, I think we all been trying to figure that out for, really 5 games straight, however many we've lost. And so we're still searching for that. Hopefully we'll kind of figure out some things and get some wins.
And more about the internal side of things, which I referenced.
What we've done as players this year is we haven't really questioned the coaches. I think, even though we have a losing, record, obviously there really hasn't been a lot of, turmoil and guys turning on each other. I feel like we have been in this all together. I think if there's one positive for the first half, I would say it would be that. There has definitely been a want to, there's been a trust there. And, I do believe that we are very close. It just, close in this league is not enough. You just got to do it. And everybody in our room is definitely still on the mindset that we still can do it. And I believe we can, and I think everyone else believes as well. So it's another opportunity to go out there and try to do it.
All right. So there you have it. I think the best thing we've done as players this year is we haven't really questioned the coaches. Even though we have a losing record, there really hasn't been a lot, not none, but a lot of turmoil and guys turning on each other. There's definitely been I do believe that we are really close, but close in this league is not enough. Your thoughts on those last couple snippets?
I believe there's not a ton of turmoil. To me, it just seems more like they're searching for confidence. And so it doesn't, I believe that. And especially once you listen to those anonymous players, the only person that was called out in all of that was Todd Monken. No coaches, no fellow players, none of that. So that was interesting. So I believe that. So listen, Femi has got quite the debate going on in the live chat on how to interpret all this. Is he being serious? Is he just tired of answering the same questions? Is he going to say, I just got to keep it low key and have my actions do the talking rather than, my words? Or is it you interpreting it as their demeanor is cooked, so therefore the team is cooked? It's quite the debate. So it'll be interesting going forward. It's not exuding confidence, that's for sure. But are they cooked? I'm not willing to go there yet, for sure.
We're going to learn a lot about them coming up this weekend. Chicago, a team that comes in, yes, having won 4 in a row, but the opponent's certainly something that comes into question in terms of the degree of difficulty. And Sarah, that's where I kind of, and we'll move on here after this. One of your 5 reasons it's tripping me up because it's like you're leaning on this idea that was once a fact that they're going to prey on some of their competition on paper down the line, right? That we would have absolutely picked as total no-brainer, easy call wins for them before the season began. And then
I'm not prey upon them. It's a little, I think they would, yes, at the beginning of the year, maybe prey upon them. But at this point, I just think they can beat them.
Well,
I'm not saying prey upon them. Yeah.
Correct. But you're still leaning on, one of your 5 reasons is leaning on
a lighter schedule
or lack thereof. Correct. Strength of schedule over the second half of the season. And I have to stop myself and ask, are the Ravens now looked at as that? Because
as a preyed upon team
correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And so I have to to me, I'd be like, okay, I can get behind 4 of your reasons for optimism. Clearly they're not enough for me to have bought into this belief
right
down the second half stretch. But that's one area that immediately comes to my mind. And I'm like, are they who they once were? And
they're not.
They're not.
They're not.
And
certainly not.
And that's a hard pill to swallow. And so while I love and hope that, well, first of all, I love the optimism, to be clear. 2, I hope that I'm wrong, and I hope my arse is clipped for all to show and tell for years and years and years. At some point, you just got to believe what you're watching, and I think that's where I've come to. So appreciate your 2-week buffer that you're giving yourself. Maybe Femi will take that 2 weeks as well, and we'll revisit this conversation down the line.
And I just want to say I love Femi, but I'm not buying into that just yet. The 99% of the locker room doesn't care.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even though he's a former player.
Even though he's a former player. I know that's both of me.
Fem, you better have the same energy for her.
Fem may
back on
be
me.
texting us. He's like, put me back on the show.
Come on now. Oh, he's got to be chomping. I'm guessing. Let's just check real quick.
Is he texting us?
Okay, at least he knows we're live. Sometimes this guy texts us when we're live, doesn't he? He's gonna as soon as we finish this up.
He's in the chat. That's where he's talking to us now.
I know that. Look at this. Here you go.
Oh, that was you saying.
Oh, this is good.
Oh, no,
All
this
right.
is more going to your point of the body language. Here, let's read this. They are plotting quietly. You have to earn the right to talk loudly and boldly. The more chaos, the more still and quietly you prepare. Saraj or Sarah is wrong, he says in all caps.
Oh.
Wait, I'm wrong about, well, I agree with him with the points he was making here. Not necessarily agree, but like I'm that's why I'm saying they're not cooked. I hope he's saying that I'm wrong about the locker room.
Stick a pin in this one. The fact that Femi just got Sarah to read. Yes, it was just read, but read something that suggested that you are wrong. Oh my goodness. Well, hey, obviously a lot more to come, a lot more to be said and learned, and we will follow it accordingly. Femi just reminding everybody that he's been in 11 different National Football League locker rooms. So take that as you will. Appreciate you, Fem. Appreciate you, partner, for a good conversation.
Appreciate you.
Including everybody in the live chat that's weighing in very passionately on a very passionate topic.
That's right.
All right. Let's see. Where are we, partner? Should we get some super chats?
Super chats and quick hits.
All right. Let's do exactly that.
And then I guess we'll talk about our vacations.
Yeah, we do. We're going to let everybody know, as promised, what our experiences were like. As people did ask about it. That's the only reason why we're bringing it up. Kobe Pruitt says, if we don't win on Sunday, I assume it's a fire sale time with pink slips being handed out to coaches. Preparing myself emotionally for the end. And why don't you take this second super chat from KP?
Sure. Kobe says, Marlo, how many sit downs do the players need before you play like you care? Maybe you need to take a seat on a bus out of town. Ooh. Kobe.
Yeah.
He's done with Marlo.
Right. Why is there a sit down being had? I mean, Marlon was kind of just talking there in a sense, but get the sense that there's also some meaning behind that coming out of the bye. Tiny Tim Gaming says maybe Marlon looks like that because he knows it's scripted and we're cooked for the season. Richard says, I thought they said Harbs was a leader of men. That brings us to Mare.
Bobby, I feel you on the realistic approach, but the season has been so chaotic and nonsensical, I don't think anything can truly be predicted.
Never can in this league. That's the beauty of it. And that's what allows you, Mare, I assume, as a fan, as a diehard fan, to lean on any glimmer of hope that's out there. And Sarah's given you 5 reasons, perhaps, to do exactly that. Kobe Pruitt is back, partner, for more.
Oh, Kobe, here we go. Is he going to come with more fire? He says EDC has to be watching Marlo pouting and Rokon looking like Michael Pierce and realize the team needs a soft reset. And the leaders, sans Lamar, need to be removed. Roe, Marlo, Mark, and Kyle Hamilton? Is that who he's talking about? Kyle Hamilton or Kyle Van Noy? Okay, good. Because Kyle Hamilton doesn't need to go. Kyle need to go.
Nagasaki 20 celebrating 3 months of channel membership. He says, Bobby, love you in the show, but this isn't the Jets or Browns. Never said it was, to be clear. 9 out of 11 isn't a pipe dream.
Is it? It's according to Bobby, it's a pipe dream.
I think it's a pipe dream. I do. That doesn't mean I think it's the Jets or Browns operate. Come on. I mean, Jets or Browns. Browns won this weekend, though, didn't they?
They sure did.
Although they beat pure dysfunction, I think, is what they beat. I think it's a pipe dream.
Is the Ravens Miami is after the Bears, right?
Halloween week, Thursday night leading into Halloween weekend. Yep. A week from this Thursday. Short week going into Miami. If you're not beating Miami, then you got major issues.
Listen, just take it one game at a time.
True. That's what Marlon's saying, right? That's what Marlon is desperately asking for, right?
Yeah.
Kobe says, just to be clear on what you were
Okay,
asking about,
got it.
Kyle Van Noy, not Kyle Hamilton. And that brings us to unpretentious ox for you.
Weird. Marlo was excited and energetic to tell everyone on his podcast how much he loves
Scataboo.
Yep.
Sorry, I didn't mean
Now-
to talk on you now.
That's all right. Appreciate it. I paused, so you were trying to help out. I always appreciate you. You know, I have a history with names. Let's be honest. Anyway, he goes on to say, now he's back to moping around. He is 165 at 172 on PFF. I assume
Whoa.
ranked out
Is that
of
legit rank?
CBs or DBs total.
Oh my goodness. Let us know, unpretentious. Eileen says Harb's only fix. Take away their toys. Really? Just referring to the Baltimore Sun article.
Yep.
Some locker room adjustments that were made. And that brings us to Queon, Sarah.
Says, so is Munkin the reason for the lack of sacks and turnovers? Sarcastically
And
asking.
Rave's in the building. So are we going to talk about John sounding like he ain't making no changes on the offensive line? Sorry, Sarah, but those 5 reasons won't matter. We'll wait and see on Sunday.
That's right.
Thank you, Rave. And Rave, we're going to have to send a wellness check, I think, on Rave. If there
Femi
aren't
says the
line-
voice note is sent. Does that mean you want us to play it live, Femi? Is that what you want? You let us know.
typically not with those, he says. But this could be
Typically
different.
not, but because he's putting it in the live, that's why I'm asking.
Well, wait. It's 2:49. It's 2 minutes and 49 seconds. It's 2 minutes and 49 seconds.
You don't want a 3-minute rant from Femi?
Oh, I'm look at him. He,
He
said,
said
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
It's
He
just
said
tight,
go
though. I mean, it's tight on time. We should just have him
Bobby
on.
doesn't
This week.
have Bobby's.
We should have him on this week. Is what we should do.
All
'Cause
right.
Tomorrow
Well,
we don't have.
I bet we can
tomorrow.
have him on, Femi. What are you doing tomorrow? Because there's no pressures today. It'd be nice to have a guest tomorrow. We don't have any film to dissect. Femi, you
for
want to come on
audio
tomorrow?
for audio quality purposes.
He said play it in all caps. Bobby wants you on tomorrow, Femi.
Fem, do you mind if I feel terrible not playing it, but we gotta. It's a timing thing, is what it really is. We
He
went
said
2+
he's ready for tomorrow.
hours.
Femi,
Okay.
are you gonna go? Femi's gonna rip my argument is what he's gonna do.
Well, I think he's gonna have
I'm
words.
here for it. I'm
To
here
be
for
clear,
it.
I think he's gonna have words for both of us. So
Yeah,
it'll be good.
probably.
It'll be good.
One thing for you, one thing for me. He
It'll
says
be
he's
good.
ready tomorrow.
Yeah, it'll be good. KP said, okay, we'll chat in our group. Fun group message that's developing, by the way.
Oh my god.
KP writes, did Roquan eat Trenton Smith over the bye?
Did Roquan eat Trent Simpson?
Who's Trenton Smith? Trenton Simpson?
First means Simpson. Listen,
Trenton
I
Simpson.
love Kobe. Kobe has good, for the vast majority of the time, Kobe has good points and good grammar. So I'm going to let that one slide.
Unreal. Okay. Quick hits, and then we'll get on to our bye week stories and any other super chats that come in. Sarah, you take this one.
Oh, so yeah, looks like the Ravens worked out veteran defensive end Carl Lawson. It says today, but it was yesterday. This to me is like the Ravens for now trying to bring in bodies. I mean, Carl Lawson, it's been a minute, right? When's the last time Carl Lawson played a game?
I will check that right now. He's 30 years old.
He's 30.
Carl's 30. He spent last year in Dallas, has not been with a team since for a reason. Prior to that, he was with the Jets, and he was a 4th-round pick in 2017 out of Auburn by Cincinnati. So had some AFC North experience.
Yeah. So I'm telling you, if they need to see if they can win 1 or 2 games before EDC is going to make a huge move. This is more get us through a game or 2 type situation.
There's a fine line between EDC doing what he does best and maybe doing what we haven't seen ever in the history of Eric's tenure as GM, meaning sellers.
30 years old is not that old, by the way. That's how old you said he is?
Thank you. I'm 31.
You're
For
welcome.
NFL
I'm
years.
talking about in football terms, but yes. 30 is definitely not old in non-football terms, but in football terms, it's not old yet.
No.
Did he have an injury last year?
Yet. So
Well, all right.
he's been out,
meanwhile,
been out of the league for a reason. I'll get that while you read this.
Jordan Schultz according to his sources, with the Dolphins sitting at 1-6, teams around the league are keeping a close eye on their pass rushers ahead of the trade deadline. I mentioned this yesterday from Ian Rappaport, including Bradley Chubb, who has no guaranteed money after the season, Jalen Phillips in the final year of his contract, and Matthew Judon, who is a surprise healthy inactive on Sunday. Now, I know you said that somebody else's sources said that they're not moving any of these guys? Come on now.
Well, I'm looking up Lawson's injury history. Sorry. So go ahead. Ask
I'm
me
all
that.
over the place. You said yesterday, didn't you say yesterday you saw a report that Miami internally said they're not going to move any of their guys?
Yeah, I'm sure.
That's just got to be.
Well, I was going to say maybe that's just procedural stuff that you do initially. That you send out.
You got
to
Matthew
the
Judon, a healthy scratch, and you're 1-6 now.
They're
and these guys are in the final years of their contract or no guaranteed money. So you could get assets when you're probably not going to get these guys back.
Yeah.
It just seems like a total no-brainer for them to make a move.
Yep. As for Carl Lawson,
he's
several years removed from an Achilles tendon rupture that ended his 2021 season. And I think he's been relatively healthy since.
Okay.
But that's also, Sarah, as we've seen with other players, when you have as many NFL miles as he did at the time of that injury under his belt, it's difficult, especially when you stand 6'2", 260 pounds the way that he does.
Mm-hmm.
It's difficult to overcome that from a recovery standpoint. But anyway, I think he played just one game for the Jets let me make sure I get this is just live learning here about a guy that we don't even know if is being signed to Baltimore, but it's been worked out by him. So he played just 6 games for the Jets in 2023. And then last year he started just 3 games in 24 for Dallas.
Okay.
So I guess
thank you for that.
Begs the question that, he's been unsigned for a reason.
He's not going to be a hero if they do sign him. They may not even sign him. But they did sign somebody else to the practice squad. Wide receiver Colton, are we saying Dowell or Dowell? Dowell. I feel like, to the practice squad. Why? I do not know. Here's what the Ravens website said about signing him to the practice squad. It says Dowell spent his first 2 seasons with the Tennessee Titans before being released in July. The former 7th-round pick suffered a torn ACL at the end of the 2023 season and did not appear in a game last year. He has 1 catch for 3 yards. Dowell holds the record for the most career receiving yards at Tennessee Martin, where he finished college with 177 receptions for 2,792 yards and 19 touchdowns.
Should also give Carl Lawson a little bit more love because while he played in just 3 games, started in just 3 games last year for Dallas, he did put forth 5 sacks in 15 games. So played in 15 games, started 3 of them, 5 sacks, has 32 total in 89 career games. So not to just write the guy off that he wouldn't come and, to your point, he's not going to come and save this entire operation, but maybe he's somebody that is a body that could help from a rotational standpoint. And again, I just want to be clear. I don't want to write off Carl Lawson. I know he's had some success throughout his years.
What year did he do that? What year did he do that?
Just this past year in Dallas.
Oh, okay.
5 sacks.
In 3 starts.
So the Ravens are working him out. We'll obviously do more research.
Now, he was playing with Micah Parsons.
He would have last year. Yeah.
Yeah.
He would have last year.
Would have helped.
So, just not to totally just look the other way. We'll obviously look more into it if this becomes more substantial other than just
a workout.
Thank you.
Yeah. Meanwhile, here's a chart that just noted the most big plays per game through 7 weeks. Chicago Bears is number 1 with 8 big plays per game, and the Ravens number 4. And all of those, I'm sure, most of those, I bet, were when Lamar was
the first 4 weeks.
Was still healthy. Meanwhile, the Philadelphia Eagles got pass rusher Brennan Graham to unretire and rejoin in Philadelphia. So he's won 2 Super Bowls with Philly and is looking for a 3rd championship. So can we get Michael Pierce to unretire? Remember he talked to Samuel Njoku, who was our guest host last week? he talks to Samuel, and Samuel's like, "Hey, you want to unretire?" He's like, "Oh, you got to give me time if I'm going to do it." It's like, "Come back to me." What do you say, like November or December?
He was lobbying hard. He was lobbying for him, and Mike turned him down, didn't he?
Yeah, just I hope you're getting in football shape, Mike. Pull a Brandon Graham for us.
The rich become richer. Philly's trenches become stronger. Yet again. What else you got?
Oh, this was funny. This is funny because this is something I would do. When Jeff was reporting about Zay Flowers apologizing, at the end he said that Zay acknowledged that the team needs a dental reset during the bye. And everybody had a heyday with this. When I tell you that people loved that instead of saying mental reset, he said dental reset. Bobby, this tweet probably got well over 1,000 likes. People were having fun. Somebody's like, Grok, what's a dental reset? Grok knew. He said, I suspect dental reset is a typo for mental reset. But like, you got to go into the comments of this tweet. It was absolutely hilarious. Like, we're all worried about gingivitis or cavities during the bye week. Maybe some people need what's it called? What did you just get recently? When they get your nerve out of there. What's that called?
Oh man, what the heck was that called? What did I get from Be More Dental, downtown Canton, or downtown Baltimore?
Root canal.
Root canal, thank you.
There we go. It's not important, but it was bothering me that I couldn't come up with the phrase.
Yep.
Anyway, everybody make sure you get your dental reset.
Yep. This is hilarious. Yeah, this is hilarious. I mean, this is probably what everybody needed at the time, right? This is what everybody needed.
They just needed to laugh.
By the way, to be clear, that root canal did me well. Can I just be clear on that? I mean, all the sensitivity that I had is gone. Dr. Offner, Loyola classmate of mine.
Yeah.
Shout out her.
Tila's reminding in the chat how I was slobbering in here after. No, you don't even know, Tila. I've kept it on the down low. I got a tooth implant. And what they had to do, you remember this, Bobby? Remember they had to like take out my tooth? And my tooth, when they couldn't take it out in one piece. It was like fused to my jawbone. And so they were taking out, like the dentist was like breaking my tooth piece by piece. Like it would come out in small little pieces. I mean, bigger than a grain of salt, but like, pretty small. And I was in there for like 2 hours as they just kept breaking the tooth. And I was so sore. Anyway, I finally finished. It took 8 months to finish my tooth implant. And I just finished it last week while you were out.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You and I have had a heck of an off season for.
Yes. I had a dental reset during the bye. I actually did.
You did.
Yeah.
The off season was. I'm going back to the off season for me because that's when I got all mine done. But yeah, I guess both were needed then. Mental and dental resets across the board. There you go.
Done. Accomplished. Nobody wants that story.
That's hysterical. Richard says, Bobby, are you doing the Bobby Baltimore today? I need to vent. I don't know. My mom's in town, Richard, and she wants to do all kinds of activities before the collective because this is usually my 3-stream day.
Yeah, you get your collective today.
I don't know yet. We'll have to see. TBD. Dream says, I dream of Lamar and a Ben Johnson offense. He's the first-year head coach in Chicago who will be coming to Baltimore with Caleb Williams and company this upcoming weekend. Okay, let's get to some patrons and then talk about our bye weeks and then Scoop.
Sure. Yes.
Laura Dillander and Justin Holt, thank you both for believing in what we're building. We appreciate you guys for being integral members of our Patreon community, supporting the channel for years as you both have done. So shout out you guys. Patreon.com/RavensVault podcast if you'd like to see what we're offering in that space. Partner, how was Utah?
Oh, it was awesome. So I won't get into BYU because I indulged with that when Jack came on yesterday. But as I mentioned before, I went out for my parents' 60th wedding anniversary. I'm one of 7 siblings, and my parents have 30. Let's see, with the 32nd grandchild is on its way. It's due in 2 weeks. I think that'll probably be the last one.
Congrats to the fam.
Yeah. So it was awesome. We went up into the mountains. Made sure everybody stayed at this resort. My parents were kind enough to, my parents not made out of money, but they found a way to make sure that they paid for everybody to have a place to stay. And they were like on campus there's like the Utah Crater. You can go and swim in that super warm water. They had all these pools at different levels of temperatures. So you could be in some warm pools. You could go into hot tubs. Anyway, just to watch all these grandkids. My kids, we live the furthest away from my family. So my kids don't get a lot of cousin time. They have almost 30 cousins. So to watch that, to be back with all of my siblings, like all 7 of us were there. When I tell you, I only have one sister that's shy, but everybody else is kind of like me. We can all chat. I mean, we could sit and talk for hours. And most people don't have as big of families as me, but those that do know that it's hard. Like there are so many different opinions, so many different thoughts that it's hard to get everybody to get along. Not us, like all of us. And we do have different thoughts and opinions, but we all get along. Immediately we were arguing about who's the tallest. We had people back to back, like we just went back to grade school. And then we had this big dinner on Saturday night, which was actually at the start of the BYU-Utah game. But we finished the dinner and we all watched the fourth quarter together, which was so much fun to be with my 4 brothers again. My 2 sisters were around, but they don't care as much. Yeah. And to watch football with them again, I haven't done that in years. But that's where my first love of football came from. I can remember as young as like 4 or 5 years old, watching football, college, professional, it didn't matter, with my dad and my 4 brothers. Like to be back and then to add my kids to that and like the nieces and nephews and to have that be a win, that was awesome. But what we did, because it was their 60th, there are about 30 grandkids who are of speaking age, right? There's still some that are too young. And all of them got up to a mic and gave one memory of grandma and grandpa for 60 total, for like, the 60 memories for grandma and grandpa. And then all 7 of us kids spoke about my parents. And I just thought, I think it was my nephew who said it really well. He's like, this isn't a milestone for grandma and grandpa. It's a legacy. And as you look around the room and there's 50 of us that all came from my mom and dad, and like, what I talked about with my mom and dad and like just so personal. One reason why I'm an optimist, Bobby, and I believe in miracles and all these types of things, I, as the 6th of the 7, have seen so much turmoil. Like I've seen tragedy. I've seen challenges. I've seen people fight for their lives. I've seen jobs lost. I've seen divorce. I've seen death. I've seen so much happen in this big family of mine. And I cannot tell you how many people I've seen turn their lives around with the support and help of my parents. And my parents have an unshakable faith that as I was looking out over that room and I could see all the lives that they've touched. I've seen drug addiction. I've seen so much. And my parents' unshakable faith and their hard work and their ability to get behind anybody, whether it's a grandchild or a child or a daughter-in-law or a son-in-law or one of their own siblings, the way they rally around people and refuse to let them go. I've seen people come back from the abyss, staring hell in its face. And my parents will people back to life. And so that was just like, kind of what I talked about, of just like how I feel like as a kid that has in the back of my head stuck with me. And so that when I meet challenges and tragedy happens to my family, I can say, you know what? In the end, I know it's going to be okay. And even if it's not okay, it's still going to be okay. If that makes sense. Like in the end, God has you. In the end, like when families rally around each other, it's okay. And I'm just so grateful for their legacy and the lessons that they've taught. I'm so grateful for all of my siblings. I'm so grateful for all my nieces and nephews, my husband, my kids. I will never forget this weekend. And I'm so glad I went out there for my 50th and my kids were super young and I went by myself. I didn't make my whole family come. Like I said to my husband, I was like, honey, we're going. Like we're taking the kids out of school. Yeah. It's 4 days. We'll be traveling for 2 of them. But I want my kids to see this. And like my dad's 89. He just turned 89 yesterday. I don't know how much longer we'll have him. Hopefully it's another 10 years. I don't know. But I wanted my kids to have that experience. And each one of my kids that night, that dinner, were just like enthralled. You'd think that they'd be bored. Like I have teenagers, I have young kids that from 8 to 16, and all of them were just completely soaking it all in. And I'm so glad they got to witness the legacy and some of the stories from my parents and how we've inspired all of us. I feel so privileged and grateful and honored that I could have Irv and Sue Gardner as my parents, outside of my husband and my kids. Biggest blessing of my life.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing. There's so much that resonates. I think for those of us that are lucky enough, especially as somebody in their 40s, to have both their parents around.
Mm-hmm.
Mine are obviously significantly younger than yours and not together, but man, does that message resonate with me. I'm so glad that you had a chance to bring you just stood tall and said, you know what, the logistical challenges that come with this and the hectic, I'm sure, nature leading up to the trip and after the trip and how exhausted you were and the mountain time change and everything that went into that and everything that what's going on in your life right now outside of that, I'm sure made it very, very challenging leading up, but you will never, ever regret that. You're going to always cherish that time. So, having met both of them virtually on a number of occasions,
yeah,
I feel everything. It really, really resonates. So I'm glad. And a belated happy 60th anniversary to two wonderful people. That is awesome. I'm so glad you had a chance to do that.
Appreciate that. I'll let them know. So tell us about Banff. How was your trip?
Well, not as sentimental, certainly. Certainly not as sentimental, but I did put together in advance of this segment just a quick little reel on my Instagram page. You guys know I try to document the majority of what I do, especially when I'm on the road. I'll just take this bye-week banner off for a second. And so I'll also zoom in, give you an idea of just some of the scenery that I was so lucky to have a front row seat to. And I also want to shout out, I worked with a hotel partner, Sarah, for a part of the trip.
Mm-hmm.
And you're about to get a good look at it here right in downtown Banff.
Nice.
Pete's Hotel and Suites. I mean, they totally rolled out the red carpet. I was sending you stuff individually, or maybe you commented on my Instagram story and you were like, what? Like, what the heck? Where are you staying?
What was that?
Well,
was that a ram and a moose?
I know it's going really fast. I'll go to the Instagram,
okay,
the highlights in just a second. That'll go through this individually. But I got to tell you, Pete's Hotel and Suites went off on this for my travel friend and my friend Matt that I went to college with. And so this is just a little bit of a feel and a glimpse into our week. But now I'll go into the actual highlights to answer some of your questions in terms of the scenery, the wildlife, everything else. And here you are, by the way.
I saw that one. You tagged me on that one. Yeah.
Here you are at Calgary International. No, that was just me showing up for I was waiting for Matt to arrive. He was a couple hours behind me. And on Monday, as you saw there, I was watching you. I was watching your Monday show that you were solo on. So anyway, here's a look at our suite. Really, I think the better way to put it is it felt like a penthouse. It felt like this massive unit that they gave to us for a couple of days. And look at downtown Banff. Look at the amount of sunshine.
So beautiful.
The natural light, the snow that had just, by the way, a blizzard hit 48 hours prior to our arrival. So I think one thing you're going to see on these highlights is scenery that is a little bit of both. It's the best of both worlds. It's peak foliage and it's also snow-capped mountains, snow-capped pines, snow-capped roofs. I mean, it was such a special time to visit. And it was a great time with my former travel partner, Matt, that we studied abroad together in Madrid in 2015. Here's an idea. Here's
the
a sense of
Vault representing.
Yeah, you already know it. Let me go back to that just in case you guys didn't see the new white sweatshirt designed by Carly and our awesome design team on the vaultpod.com. But this was right around the corner from where we were staying on the Bow River. And here's a look at, I mean, come on. I had so many people, Sarah, reach out and be like, your stories look like AI. I mean, it's that out of this world. I highly recommend going in October. It's off peak. Don't get me wrong. It's off peak, but it's quiet. It's awesome. Here's the Tunnel Mountain hike that we did. Here's a view from the top of Tunnel Mountain overlooking different parts of Banff. Here's Vermilion Lakes, just a couple minutes drive from where we were staying. Anybody in the live chat been here before? Here I am with all my layers, taking a little. It's 28 degrees, and I was really comfortable at that point because the blood was flowing.
Yeah, I bet. Hiking up that.
I mean, look at this, partner. Have you ever? I can't remember. You have not been, correct?
I have not been. You've inspired me to want to go though.
Okay. Well, I
I
got
don't know if I
everybody.
told you this because when you first told me you were going there, I like Googled Banff, and now like my feeds on social media is like all Banff. But it's also like other cities or other like road trips that you could do along with Banff.
I got you on the itinerary if that ends up being the case for you
Yeah.
guys. Here's more from different parts in the surrounding areas. Maybe a new hinge shot. You never know.
Looking clean.
And then we went off to Lake Louise, which is just up the road, about 45 minutes. This was our leg 2 of 3 legs. We ended in Jasper, which is even more north, and then drove back to Edmonton. So, sir, if you are wondering, what that consisted of for your future itinerary, it was 2 nights in Banff, 1 night in Lake Louise, which is what you're seeing right here, and then 3 nights in Jasper. And we drove to Edmonton with our rental. There's Matt and I at Lake Louise. Here I mean, look, does it not look fake? This is insane.
Yeah, for sure. That right there, the turquoise water with the mountain and then the reflection and the clouds and the blue sky behind it's like, yeah.
Yeah. I couldn't get over what I was looking at. So anyway, awesome time. There's Emerald Lake. Again, just an image that, Matt said it best, I think. Matt was like, we feel like we're staring at when your computer goes solo or excuse me, when your computer rests.
Yes.
And those images pop up.
Yes.
Like, this is what it felt like every other second there.
The screensavers.
Totally. And here is, I think it's a bull of some sort or an elk. But yeah, this guy was walking right towards us. If you haven't,
that's crazy.
Look at him looking the way back.
He wants to smash you right now.
I know.
Like just bang right with this. Yes.
Well, so Matt, and it's so funny calling him Matt. There's a moose, by the way.
Yeah.
It's so funny calling him Matt because his nickname in college was Congressman since he interned on Capitol Hill. So I'm going to call him Matt for the rest of this segment.
Okay.
It's not an elk, Kingley. You're right. It's a bull, is it not? Is this guy a bull? We didn't have a tour guide with us, but I'll have you know that Congressman
look at that.
Had the car rental under his name, Sarah, and I was driving when we were approached by this animal.
Like seriously, he was unafraid of the car. Like he was ready to take it on.
His face was so funny. Like we got to keep this rental intact, or else it's coming out of my docket. So,
you didn't get the rental insurance? I never do.
No, we did not. And so anyway, that was a beautiful moose. If you're wondering what he was doing there, they had just salted the roads, so he was snacking on the salt, which probably is not very healthy for him. But nice little spot there in Jasper. And then this is, I'll finish here, unfortunately, on a sad note. Summer 2024, Sarah, wildfires just absolutely ravaged this country in Jasper.
That's crazy.
And this is the aftermath. For miles, or as they say in Canada, kilometers and kilometers and kilometers, or kilometers, this was the site. It was genuinely, on a serious note, really sad. I met a lot of people, we both did, in the service industry and hospitality and in every other really walks of life that lost everything here in the summer of 2024 because they were forced to evacuate. Now, a lot of us
know how that started, the fire?
I think it was naturally, unlike
really?
the Palisades.
It just doesn't seem like dry up there.
Unlike
Like California, it's like it's dry, but
I think what happened, it was a terrible combination of dryness and high winds. And so sadly, a lot of people lost everything. And so we were able to have some conversations with those people. And obviously they are, they're staying as positive as you can. A lot of them are still displaced a year and a half later. So best wishes out to them. They're incredibly nice people, welcoming people, generous people. And there you have it. Again, just kind of speaks to how sad. And a little selfie in there on our way out.
Yeah.
And then one more for you. What was the last one there? I don't know. Just beautiful. Just beautiful.
Absolutely.
To be clear, I don't know how the Palisades started. I just suggested that was not naturally started, was it? I have to look that up. Matter of fact, just to be
Where's
clear.
Eric Hill? He could probably give us some fire tips out in the woods and when you're out camping.
For real. By the way, there is a suspect. There is somebody that's been accused of starting the Palisades fire. So I thought I saw that, and that's what I was recycling, that headline that I had seen. There's several of them that are out there. They do have a suspect that allegedly intentionally started the Palisades fire. As for Jasper, I'll just do a quick Google search so we're being thorough here.
Okay.
Jasper fire started how? Let's see. Okay. You know what? I'm sorry. I was told this by somebody locally. A lightning storm is believed to have started it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, just want to be clear. And we appreciate you guys for listening to our bye-week chronicles. And
yeah,
Sarah, thank you for sharing.
Likewise.
And again, a happy belated 60th anniversary to your wonderful parents. And thank you for going solo Monday through Wednesday. And a special thanks to the 410 Sports Talks guys, James and Glenn. And then our friends, they're all our friends, but Kadri and Samuel and Joku, who were kind enough to fill in on Thursday and Friday so that we could both travel to Mountain Time. Y'all set?
All set.
All right. Well, thanks, guys. Good show. Looks like Femi will be joining us tomorrow. So be on the lookout for that. No practice today, so it should be a relatively slow day in the news for now. And on that note, let me just check the timeline just in case, because you never know as the 4th approaches 2 weeks out. Let's just make sure we're fully caught up on everything since we went rogue there a little bit, as we promised we would, telling everybody about what our bye weeks consisted of. And yeah, we're fully caught up.
Yeah, we're all caught up. And there's no practice today, so.
And I think we're fully caught up on super chats as well. Yes, we are. Thanks to all of you for spending some time with us. We would love for you to participate and enter yourself into today's, and this month's, I should say, free $100 Fanatics gift card to Baltimore's team store. That's courtesy of our sponsor, Primary Residential Mortgage. Click on the link that's a pinned comment if you're watching live. You can click on the link that's in the show notes if you're not watching live, regardless of where you are, audio only or on the YouTube space. And just to reiterate once more, thank you guys for understanding what's been going on with the audio only podcast. A lot of you have inquired. Yesterday was due to the AWS outage, and then Thursday and Friday we did not release a show due to being on the bye. So for Sarah Ellison, I'm Bobby Trossett signing off from this Tuesday Ravens Lunch Hour live stream. We'll be back with you tomorrow. Femi will join us for our featured guest interview, and then we'll turn a page officially. It's Bears week. Got to track down a reporter. Got to track down a lot between now and then. We will promise you all that and more. For Sarah, I'm Bobby signing off. We appreciate you guys as always, and thank you for spending some time with us here inside the vault.